Hello, audience of Elisha Space. This is Elisha reaching out to you all. I have an amazing guest with us today. Her name is Lauren Spruill. She's going to share her birth story regarding her daughter. There are miracles upon miracles upon miracles that came as a result of all of these things, and it will inspire you, give you hope. I'm really excited to hear what you have to say with us, Lauren, and I welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here.
So, can you start by just kind of sharing a bit about the circumstances leading up to your daughter's birth and why you consider it to be a miraculous event? Tell us your story. What happened?
So, I had an uneventful first trimester. Pregnancy was going as normal. Then, maybe around 3 to 4 months in, I started to have random trips to the ER for pain associated with fibroids, because I do have fibroids. And within weeks, my water just broke spontaneously. I was working at the time part-time, working from home, and I wasn't doing anything but on the computer, doing work in the kitchen, and my water broke. I was 23 weeks and 6 days. I know the days because when you're pregnant, every day matters. So I called my parents and called 911, got up to the hospital. By the time I got to the hospital, my water had completely broken. I had no amniotic fluid left. And they told me I was 4 centimeters dilated. And
That is wild at 26 weeks.
so I was 23 weeks, 6 days. And they told me, we can try to see if we can stop labor. But if not, the hospital that I was at was a regional hospital. So they're able to deliver babies that are really, really early. They actually gave me medication and labor did stop. They told me to just go on bed rest, but I was going to be doing bed rest from the hospital. I had to wrap my mind around that. I was like, oh goodness, I'm going to have to be in the hospital for 10 weeks. The plan was to stay there for 10 weeks. I lasted 2 weeks. She, as in my daughter, Samantha, she was born at 25 weeks, which is extremely, extremely premature. I couldn't believe how everything kind of just came about. I just feel like God was all in the midst of everything. The fact that I was already in the hospital when I gave birth, I wasn't home, although my water broke 2 weeks prior. I still felt like God's hand was on our life because it could have gone another way. I could have given birth in the house, and that would have been even more traumatic. So when she was born with so many complications. She had a grade 3 brain bleed on both sides of her brain. She also had 2 holes in her heart. Her lungs were severely underdeveloped. I was just so scared for my baby because they told me pretty much not to get my hopes up. They're going to do what they can, but it did not look good at all. So I had to lean on God. I had no other choice. And I'm so glad that I have a relationship with him. And I know that I can go to him even when I didn't have audible prayers. Just the tears alone, I felt like were enough. She was 800 grams, which is about 1 pound, 7 ounces. It was a very scary time. God literally was my anchor, and my village was also there for me. The medical team was amazing. They did everything that they could, and they were able to save Samantha. I'm forever grateful for everyone that had anything to do with why she's here today. But God definitely was the number one. I could not have made it throughout that season without him.
Could you describe any premonitions or feelings that something extraordinary was going to happen with her?
I felt like, because I've always been told that I couldn't conceive on my own. From the beginning, when I found out that I was pregnant, I was very worried because I was like, oh, maybe this is not going to be a viable pregnancy. But then when things were going great, I was like, okay, I kind of put my guard down. And then randomly, when my water broke, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I still didn't think it was going to be that. I just knew, I don't know what's going on, but I had to really trust God. I have faith. I believe wholeheartedly in faith. But during that season, I really learned that I embody the gift of faith. because it takes another type of level to really believe something that you're seeing the opposite of what the doctors are telling you. I had to literally talk myself through that entire season that everything was going to be okay.
I'm a big follower of the old time generals of faith, like Catherine Coleman, Kenneth Hagin, the faith teachers. And yes, things can be said about them regarding the balance of some of their teachings, but that has also been something that has carried me through that my own life. I believe it's because of those teachings of faith that has saw me through to see miracles in my own life.
Yeah.
Can you describe with the audience to kind of like what's the difference between faith and the gift of faith?
Yeah. So we know the Bible talks about faith being believing something that you just cannot see or tangibly hold. But having the gift of faith is more of like truly embody and you truly believe without a shadow of a doubt that God is going to do exactly what he says. You don't question it. You just kind of know for sure, like, okay, yes, I have the gift of faith. You know, people can have the gift of faith. They can have the gift of healing. There's many different gifts that the Holy Spirit can give you. And I truly believe that the gift of faith was something that was given to me, not just during this particular time, but I really kind of looking back at it, I'm like, wow, I'm glad I knew about the gift of faith before. I knew I had faith before, but during that season of my life, I realized that I actually have the gift of faith because I can just totally like not question it at all.
Hebrews 11:1 says that faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen.
Yeah.
And I kind of see the gift of faith is you're already in that place of receiving. Like let's say you're believing God for a new job and you see yourself at this job that's not toxic, that's in the position you want it, like you see yourself there. And you're moving, you're dressing like you're seeing yourself there. You're moving like that word embodiment. You're moving like you are already there.
Yeah.
So almost even to the point where if someone says something contrary, it's like, what are you talking about? That's weird to me. It's foreign to you. Is that kind of like the place you were at with your daughter?
Definitely. The doctors told me that there's a high possibility that she may not be able to see, she may not be able to hear, she might not be able to talk or walk, she may not be able to feed herself. And I was not accepting any of that. I'm educated, I have degrees, I have a master's in biomedical science. And when I got pregnant with my daughter, I was actually in medical school. God orchestrated that because he knew that I needed the basic knowledge of what I was walking into in order to navigate that whole season so that I wouldn't become overwhelmed during that storm because it was a lot to handle. But I literally had to see my daughter out of the incubator, had to see my daughter way down the line to where we are right now. She's almost 3 years old. They were telling me that she might not walk, she might not talk. My daughter can run, she can walk, she can talk, she can say full sentences. She has challenges here and there, but I literally had to have faith for her and knowing that we were going to get past what the doctors were telling us.
When did you know miracles were unfolding?
From the very beginning, once we got to the hospital. When my water broke and I realized, wow, I have no amniotic fluid left, I knew things can go very bad very quickly.
That to me is scary.
Very much scary. The fact that I was only 23 weeks. There are only a couple of hospitals in the United States that actually will take a pregnant woman that is 22 weeks. I was just at 23 weeks. So the fact that I was able to go to a facility that was able to care for myself and my child at such a vulnerable state was a miracle in itself, because they could have turned me, if it was a week prior or a week and a half prior, they could have turned me away if I was at a different hospital. The EMT is actually the one that told me, hey, let's go to this hospital. And I said, okay. I didn't think anything of it. I just said, okay, we can go. It was a 20-minute ride from where I'm located. But that in itself was a miracle, because I think it could have gone a different way if I would have went to a different hospital.
Who would you say were the key people by your side during this time, and how did their support and prayers impact the outcome of everything that you were dealing with?
To this day, I get calls from people. I get walk up to people and they're like, "Oh, wow, I heard about your daughter. I was praying for her. I had her on the prayer line that I'm a part of," to this day. So there are a lot of strangers that I haven't met, that my daughter hasn't met. We were in their prayers. And I wholeheartedly believe that the prayers of all of the saints were very instrumental to getting us where we were. My mom was the one that came up to the NICU with me every single day. They had a very tight protocol. You couldn't have too many people. With whoever was on your list, that was it. Didn't matter how long your child was going to be in the NICU. Samantha was in the NICU for 99 days. So it was a very long stint of time that we were there. My mom, she came up with me every day. I would call my dad, my stepmom, my aunts and uncles. We had a family chat every single day. When we left the hospital, we would call them and give them an update on what was going on. I'm so glad that my village was there to be that pillar of support for me, because I don't know how I would have gotten through it, honestly, because my daughter also had 2 brain surgeries while she was there. There's so much, like, because of the brain bleed that she suffered, she developed a condition called hydrocephalus. And that's just a fancy term for saying there's an accumulation of fluid in your brain. So she had to have surgery to put a device in her head to help drain that fluid. That was within the 99 days. We had 2 surgeries, along with all the other issues that were going on with her. So it was
And with a child
emotionally.
that young.
Yeah, having my village there, being there, just sending scriptures, calling to check on us, cooking for us, anything that they can do, it really meant the world to me, because I was under so much pressure and stress and I was scared. But I also had the faith to know that we would get through it. But in the time going through it, it was a lot.
Can you share any specific prayers, scriptures, spiritual practices that you leaned on for strength and hope during that time?
I didn't get to hold Samantha until a couple of weeks after she was born because she had so many things going on. My parents used to sing this song to me called "God Can Do Anything But Fail." He can save, he can heal, all according to his will. God can do anything but fail. The first day that they let me hold Samantha, she literally can fit inside my shirt. She was from here to maybe here. And I just cried. I sang that song to her. Every time they let me hold her, I would sing that song to her. One of my favorite scriptures is Jeremiah 29:11. That particular scripture helps you see past where you are. For I know the plans that I has for you, says the Lord. That particular scripture, I had to hold on to that particular scripture because I wanted to speak life into Samantha, knowing that God has a plan for you. It doesn't end here in this incubator. It doesn't end here knowing that you're hooked up to all these machines that are beeping, going off, all the time. But to be able to know that he was going to be with us every step of the way, and he's not going to ever leave us or forsake us. So Jeremiah 29:11 was one of the major scriptures that I spoke over her life while we were in the NICU. Her godparents would send scriptures every day, prayers, original prayers, just to say that we're thinking of you, we love you, God is with us. It was very important for me to uphold my faith during that time. So the prayers and the scriptures were very important and vital.
How did you operate you said embody. So what does that look like for you?
Yes. In the beginning, a lot of people did not know that I even gave birth early because everything was happening so fast. And once I finally started telling people, like, "Oh yeah, I had the baby, she's in the NICU," automatically people hear NICU and they're like, "Oh my gosh." And I had to change my way of speaking and talking so that others could know, like, yes, she's in the state of where she is now. However, she's going to come out of this. The doctors are amazing. I had to have the faith to believe that she was going to get through it. I had to speak as if we are here right now. When you're in that type of situation and you don't know if you're coming out, which is a very high possibility for Samantha at that time, it almost sounded crazy. When we go to the doctor now, Samantha has so many doctors that we still have to see. Every major specialist that you can think of, because she has heart issues, lung issues, all of the issues. So we have to keep up. But they're just so amazed at how well she's doing. And they're like, oh, wow, I cannot believe this. And I'm like, she's a miracle. That's the only way you can look at it. You can call it whatever you like, scientifically, whatever. But I know that God performed a miracle in my baby's life for sure. I don't ever doubt that. And I always make sure to tell the doctors that as well.
This is an amazing story, Lauren.
Thank you.
A lot of times when you're in crisis, or not just you, but I mean, in general, when people are in crisis, we tend to be at, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. This has to happen. I got to get these pieces together. And sometimes we miss the miracles as they're coming in because we're so focused on like what we're dealing with at the time. We're trying to focus and making sure things are taken care of so that the dire outcome, it doesn't come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point did you fully grasp the miraculous nature of your daughter's birth?
I knew that we had small miracles happening throughout our entire NICU stay. Her getting through, she had 2 holes in her heart. They told me this was probably the first week of her being born. They're like, we're going to try medicine for treatment. If that doesn't work, she has to do open heart surgery. And I said, okay. But I prayed and asked God to please let the medicine work so that we don't have to do that, because she had so many other issues going on. The medicine worked. That was a miracle in itself. Although I prepared myself for the heart surgery, I also know what I prayed to God for. So just knowing along the way that the miracles were unfolding, like I had no shadow of a doubt from the very beginning that everything that was happening was a miracle, down to me having the background knowledge of what was going on with my child. I believe it was all divinely orchestrated, because anyone going through that particular type of time is overwhelming. But I didn't become, yes, I was scared. Yes, I was worried, but I didn't become overwhelmed to the point where I shut down. I went more into, okay, God, so I learned about this a year ago in school. Like, okay, so how does this apply here now? Like, can you walk me through this, God? How is this happening to me? But at the same time, thank you that I have the knowledge for it, you know? It was those moments where I realized that the miracles were happening back to back to back. From the time that we walked into the hospital, I knew automatically. And I give God praise all the time for it, because he did not have to let Samantha live. He did not have to let the NICU stay be only 99 days. There are people that stay in the NICU for way longer than what we were there for. We were there for a little over 3 months. Some people are there 6 months. Some people are there a year. So the fact that we even got through the stay within 99 days, I'm grateful for that in itself.
Has this experience enriched or transformed your faith in your spiritual life? How's it helped you?
It has completely transformed my person. I've always been a firm believer in God. I've had to lean on him, like I've said in times past, but this has stretched my faith way further than I thought I had the capacity for. I've leaned on him to believe I would get into school. I've leaned into him to say, okay, God, you have to help me be able to pay for this, but now this is like a whole nother level that I've entered in with him. And I love it here. I absolutely love it here. No, when I was going through it, I probably wouldn't say that when I was going through it. But now that I'm walking through, what I've experienced, I'm like, wow, like God, you completely transformed my spiritual life. And the things that I thought I couldn't get through or wouldn't get through, you showed me that I have the capability to get through it because I know that you're going to be there with me. Yeah.
How has, and can you share with us what ways your daughter's miraculous beginning continue to influence her and your family's journey?
Yeah. So I would say she went from, you know, not being able, I keep bringing up not being able to walk, talk, see, hear of what they told me. And I prepared myself mentally for that. But seeing her take her first steps, watching her point at different objects and being able to tell me what they are, saying mama, saying full words, saying her first full word was butterfly, which is such a long word. Right.
And most babies don't do that.
Her physical therapist was the one at the house, and she was just like, like, was this her first time ever saying? I said, yes. I said, and she said butterfly. Like, I'm not sure what's going on here, but okay. But just watching her evolve into this wonderful little human has been life-changing for my family and I. It shows us miracles on display. It shows us God's love on display. Her life in itself is a testimony. It's one thing to talk about, oh, what God has done in people's life, but be able to show, to physically show people like, oh, look, I can show you what God did for me. She's a walking, talking miracle. And I give God praise every chance that I get because it did not have to be this way.
What message do you hope others take away from hearing about your and your daughter's miraculous story? What do you want them to know?
I want people to be able to look for their own miracles in their own life. Your miracle may not manifest the way that mine did. You could be hoping and praying for a new job, being healed from a disease, having a better home, living situation. I want people to be able to look within and to have a still moment and really listen for God's voice and to be able to see what he's trying to do in your life because he's always present. He's always there. He's always there to help. You're never alone. And that's one thing that I had to really hold on to as well, to know that I was not alone in this journey. Because at times when you're going through stuff like that, where I was going through, even if you have a big village like I did, sometimes I felt alone. And I had to remind myself that I was not alone. I had people, and not just people, I had God. So that was important for me.
How do you envision your daughter's understanding of her miraculous entrance into the world will impact her as she grows up?
I pray that one day she has the boldness to really just proclaim to the masses. I'm doing it for her right now, but when she gets to a point where she can tell of the goodness of God in her life, I hope that she has no fear in sharing, but being able to just tell the world. And when I say the world, I mean the world of what God did for her. There are thousands of people that go through what I've gone through on some type of level. You can't even imagine the NICU families being in there for so long. In the hospital, I got to talk to a lot of families, and it's a lot. And I didn't know until I went through it myself that there's a whole nother world. The NICU world is a whole nother world that's not really talked about at all. And I felt like when I was going through it, wow, I don't really know anyone that's experienced it. But once Samantha was home and I'm telling people, oh, this is what happened, I lost count on how many times people have come up to me and said, oh, my child was a preemie. Oh, I was a preemie. Well, how come no one talks about it?
Right.
I felt very alone and isolated because I didn't have anyone that went through it as well that can like kind of guide me through it. I found myself on Google, which is always the worst thing to do. So, talking to the other families was very helpful as well at the hospital. Yeah.
If you could use a single word or a phrase to describe this miraculous experience that you had, and I think still are having with your daughter, what would it be and why would it be?
It will be the title of my book, which is going to be coming out this fall. It's called Born for This. That is the name of the book, and it's about my journey into motherhood and my miraculous experience with Samantha, knowing that I was born for this, Samantha was born for this, and you were born for this. Whatever your this is, you were born for it.
That's pretty awesome. I love that. If someone wants to get in contact with you, do you have anything coming up? I know we talked about your book, Born for This. If someone has anything, how can they reach you?
Yeah. So I have social media, and you can reach me at Lauren Denise Today. That is my Instagram handle. That is my TikTok and my YouTube. I will be uploading all my podcasts there and any videos and content that I create there as well. And my email is also Lauren Denise Today at Gmail. So please come find me. Shoot me an email. I would love to hear from you.
And audience, we want to hear about the miracles in your life. Please feel free to share those things in the comments about miracles that have happened. I know my story of miracles. I have my stories of miracles, but I really wanted to highlight Lauren because Lauren's story, it all resonates with us. And you are right. They don't talk about what happens in the NICU often enough. And there's a lot of stories of miracles that happen within the NICU, with the children. There are a lot. So how old is your daughter?
She will be 3. She's 2.9 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's still a toddler. She's truly a toddler, I assume. So
that keeps me on my toes.
Absolutely. So audience, please feel free to follow Lauren, look at her information. You'll have all of her information, of course, in the show notes if you'd like to connect with her. And Lauren, I want to thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
Audience, I'd like for you to listen to the story. And what I get from this is hope. Hope is the thing, and embodiment. There's something powerful about embodiment. There have been times in my life where I literally was in I've been in situations of impossibilities. And because I chose to see myself on the other side and embodied that, the miracles came. I've had situations where groceries would mysteriously show up at my doorstep because that's what I embodied. I embodied and saw in my mind that we had our pantries full of groceries and that we weren't going to be hungry. And people would just drop, hey, I've had all kinds of gifts given to me because that's what I had embodied. Opportunities have come my way because that is what I embodied. And so it's a really, really important is what she's talking about regarding the gift of faith. And what's beautiful about the gift of faith is that you can carry this on too, or you can ask the Lord to give this to you to help you, but it's working a muscle. Anything is working a muscle, especially, and just like you have to exercise and work a muscle to get yourself to a healthier place. My hope is that your faith will grow and that you will embody the goodness, the joy, the peace, the prosperity that is truly due to come your way. We are called to live an abundant life. That's part of what we are as Christians to have. And that is truly my hope for you, that you walk in the fulfillment of that. Thanks for joining Elisha Space, and everyone, take care.